Let's get the Georgia Peach crew involved. Debbie Dooley, Sally Grubbs, Jacqueline Harn, and the one and only Misha Maynor. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Michael Patrick Leahy is with us of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Whatever was on the docket today to talk about, we got to go to the Marjorie Taylor Greene fiasco. Trump saying he's going to get a candidate primary here. Maybe it's going to be Debbie Dooley, right? Maybe she goes.
No.
But they're going to find somebody. La Savita's going to get involved, and she's in trouble as far as I'm concerned. But I can't really engage her after what she said. Let's start with Debbie. Just start right there. Deb, go ahead.
Well, Marjorie, in her press conferences and being on her apology tour to the left, she stated that she had been there from the beginning with MAGA in 2015. That is a lie. I was there in 2015. I was there standing up to Ted Cruz and his folks over the fact they were trying to steal the nomination from Donald Trump. Marjorie was nowhere until 2020 when she decided to run. I had never heard of her until she decided to run for Congress. And, this was right after Tom Graves, who had previously held the 14th seat. It was right after Tom Graves stepped down. She announced she's moving. She was not involved in MAGA from the beginning. And you're looking at someone that was. I was on the front lines fighting for Trump, and she was nowhere to be seen. And I stand with Trump all the way. She lost me months ago when she became rabid anti-Israel. That was a Rubicon, too far for me.
All right. Sally, you and I know Marjorie well. I first engaged with her when she was running against Karen Handel in the 6th. As you know, Karen Handel, I don't get invited to their Christmas parties, her and Steve, not on their fan club list. And that's all I can say about that. I like Karen. I like Steve. They don't like me. Anyway, that's when I first got involved with her. But now the press conference yesterday, inferring that Trump's a traitor. What was that about, Sally?
Well, okay. First of all, I think that this situation between Marjorie and President Trump is going to be a blip. I think that things are going to be repaired. This has happened time and time again. And to the point, if that was not the truth, then how is Marco Rubio the Secretary of State? Okay. So there are things that people say and they do, and then they turn around and they come back from it. Marjorie is completely America first. And I hear what Debbie's saying, but I don't see that she's anti-Israel. She is not for funding foreign wars. She is not for putting other countries before the United States of America. She sees the issues we have here at home, and those are the issues that she wants to address. And as far as there's no evidence to say that, she was asking to run. Marjorie's not someone to say, do you mind? Can I run for governor? Or do you mind? Can I run for Senate? They run polls all the time with individual people. They look at the whole slate of people that could be possibilities. They run polls, and it goes from there. So there's no evidence that she was ever rejected as a candidate by the White House. So I would want to see that in writing before I believe that.
Well, they didn't tell her, they didn't reject her. She asked for an endorsement. And
I don't know that that's true, John. I just don't know that that's true.
I don't think the president is going to lie about that. I get your position. Let's get Mike Leahy involved. Mike, I can't have her. I can't see a reconciliation. I mean, I get politics, right? I get I had no problem over her view on Israel. I have the opposite view. That she's got a right to that. But I mean, she got up in a press conference yesterday, basically calling the president a traitor. I mean, that was the inference. Otherwise, why bring it up? I mean, and then she said, he threatened her life and all this nonsense. How do you come back from that, Mike?
Well, I don't think he can come back from that, John. And, I'm not in the business of trying to read Marjorie Taylor Greene's mind. She clearly,
That's a tough business.
That's a tough business. She clearly made a decision to attack the best president in modern history, which is inexplicable. She has reasons. They're bad reasons. I think she will not end up being happy she made this choice.
Nope.
Good point. All right, let's go to Jacqueline Harns. Jacqueline is the chairwoman of the Georgia Young Republicans. She's actually a young Republican that actually accomplishes things. You're one of few, because my perspective is in Virginia, where we do absolutely nothing. But anyway, Jacqueline, go ahead. What is the young people's view of this spat?
This doesn't help anything. Spats like this that take place over social media for clips, for media hits, for sound bites, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't help. We just had I want to call it an embarrassing loss here in Georgia with the Public Service Commission, as well as some special election seats here. And if we are not focusing on defeating John Ossoff in 2026, keeping our red and our majority in state legislature, keeping the governor's mansion red, we are missing the boat. And so I think this is completely a distraction for what should we be focused on. This does not bring young people into the party. This does not bring people that are on the fence about getting more involved or actually voting Republican. This doesn't help. Whatever side you want to take on this, I think calling the president a traitor is wrong. I think calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor is also wrong. It doesn't help. And so I think more than anything, young people get frustrated by this. And me, and I know my executive board as well, and other young people, young leaders across the party here in Georgia, we're frustrated by this often because it's like it distracts from the message and it doesn't help us do our jobs anymore by bringing more young people into the party.
Jacqueline, you do a great job, and I always sing the praises of the YRs in Georgia. You do phenomenal work. You guys are like the Energizer Bunny. You keep going on and going on and going on, and you don't stop. And I know you guys are already working hard, to make sure we're victorious in 2026. God bless you guys.
Well, I wish you were up here in D.C. with me, Jacqueline, the amount of energy you have. But I agree with you. If you look at what happened in just a few weeks ago, young people abandoned the Republican movement and they went with one thing, affordability. Now, Mandami has the right message, no question about it. He has the wrong solutions. He's a communist, so we kind of need a MAGA Mandami revolution here. But none of this is talking about what matters to people. I'm going to get to Meisha Minor. None of this matters to people. They don't care about some spat between Green and Trump. They want to know what you're going to do to help them afford housing, food, school, daycare, and life. Meisha, what is your reaction to this?
To affordability or to Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Both. Take them both.
Well, I think for Marjorie Taylor Greene, what's really unfortunate, just, being a previously elected official, we should never be talking about our colleagues in public like that. At the end of the day, whether she is happy or not happy with President Trump, he is our president. He is the leader of the Republican Party. He is the leader of America. And to come out on a party member like that is not professional, right? And I think that I heard what President Trump said when he said that he sent her the data about her chances of winning and they weren't good. And sometimes as elected officials, we may not like to hear what we don't want to hear, but you never take a personal fight to the public. We really do need to show unity. As she just said earlier, what the young Republicans are looking for is cohesiveness. They're looking for stability because affordability is a big issue. And so if we have fighting in public online, that is not being a good role model to our young Republicans. As far as affordability, I am all for his 50-year mortgage rate. I know some people are not for it, but I look at it like this. I'm running for state school superintendent. There is a very poor retention for students in certain school districts at this point. And really, people are moving because they can't afford where they live. if someone is going to rent their entire life, right, and never own anything, when they pass away, they're going to pass away no assets. I
Yep.
think a 50-year mortgage, at least they're able to pass something on. Now, I'm not saying that that is the best solution in the world, but it is definitely a solution for some people. And it would be able to keep families in a community where they could actually stay in a school K through 12 because now they have home ownership. So it's unfortunate about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's wrong on this issue. And I tell you one other thing: if you're upset, you never run to the Democrat Party. To stand at a podium and be surrounded by Democrats is a no-no. I switched parties back in 2023. We have another candidate that's running for governor in Georgia, Jeff Duncan. To me, they are in the same boat. It's going to be really interesting how Jeff Duncan does, if the Democrats are actually going to accept him. And it's going to be interesting if the Democrats will actually accept Taylor Greene. I think they're in a bit of a conundrum, but if she does not want to be a part of the Republican Party, then she should leave.
I agree. And Misha, you are my personal hero. You are a strong woman. She was a Democrat state House rep, and she switched to the Republican Party. And she's got a lot of good, most of the Republicans, all the Republicans feel, very thankful that she did switch. And she's doing a great job.
Misha, I love what
Thank
you
you.
said when we were talking, or there was an event where we were at together, and you were talking about values, and how when you were talking to constituents about values, it was just like everything that you were thinking and doing actually was a conservative value. It was a Republican value, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait, these are all the things that I love, and these are the conservative values. Talk to us a little bit about that, and what really made the bells go off for you, that maybe you were in the wrong party.
It was so many bells. But the very first one, let me say this: if you're in a Democrat meeting with other elected Democrats, it is a lot of fighting, right? I mean, it is unprofessional. It bothered my spirit. When I went to the Republican Party, every single meeting we started with prayer, fellowship, and peace. So just right off the rip, it was a difference.
The Democrats don't start the meetings with a prayer?
They do not start the meeting with the prayer.
Well, you know what they do
There
now,
is no
John,
prayer.
Misha? They read the Communist Manifesto.
Karl Marx.
Yeah.
I mean, do they even say the Pledge of Allegiance, or did that fall by that wayside too?
No, an agenda.
Unbelievable.
It's complete
It's
chaos and disorder. And that is probably why they don't get things done. And it's kind of funny. I think I got under their skin a little bit because they also would not read, right? We would be at the Capitol voting on things, and they'd get up and speak. And oftentimes the Republicans would have to say, what version of the bill are you even talking about? That is nowhere in the bill. And so they weren't
They didn't even read the bills.
Now they like to make a point and be like, and we did read this bill. Well, so I'm glad that they started reading, if that's the case.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Hey, by the way, Sally, you look fantastic today. I just want to throw that out. We're with the Peach
Thank
Crew
you.
here. Michael Patrick Leahy live with me in studio in Washington, D.C. Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We've got Jacqueline Harn, Chairwoman, Georgia Young Republicans. I got to get her to come to Washington, D.C. Debbie Dooley needs no introduction. Sally Grubbs, first vice chair, Republican Party of Georgia. They actually have a Republican Party in Georgia, Mike. Like Tennessee, like you guys actually have parties. In Virginia, there is no party. It doesn't exist. We don't have one. But we have a great party here in Washington, D.C., D.C. GOP, led by my favorite chairman in the history of the world, Patrick Mara. Second only, tied with Josh McCoo. It's a tie. I love Josh. I love Patrick. but the Virginia has no Republican Party. They do have a beeper, a Mr. Coffee Maker with Joe DiMaggio's picture on it from 1962, and a cardboard cutout. Also with us, Maisha Minor used to be a Democrat state representative serving with Vernon Jones. Now she's a Republican running for state school superintendent. That'll be decided first in a primary in May and then a general in November. So Debbie Dooley, I've got your namesake on tomorrow at 8:05. Derek Dooley, running for U.S. Senate. What should I ask him? First question out of the box. What should it be? Go ahead.
Ask him why he decided to run.
Brilliant.
And he will tell you it was because he wants to be there to support the people of Georgia.
Hey, John.
Yep.
John, ask him on a scale of 1 to 10, how MAGA is he?
I will ask him. I'm going to jot that down.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's.
And ask him why he is best to win the general election and send Ossoff packing.
And ask him what is his polling saying compared to the other candidates as far as who has the best chance
Against Ossoff. Right?
At the end of the day, we want to beat Ossoff.
Right.
Yep.
Got it.
That's all I care about, beating Ossoff.
You just did my whole show. Mike, what should I ask him?
Yeah. Ask him who's going to be the national champion this year and where will Lane Kiffin go?
Georgia! Georgia!
Roll Tide! Still Roll Tide!
I have one more
question.
Ask him if he's going to endorse Misha Maynor for state school superintendent.
No, I can't ask him that. I can't do that, but I might if you tell me why I should do that, and then I'll do whatever Debbie says. That's normally how the show works. Jacqueline, what should I ask him?
We need to talk about affordability. I'm going to hammer it. Yeah, I'm going to be so annoying, as most of our YRs will be as well, to also help me with shows, media hits, whatever. Affordability. We have to make things affordable, Dan. What happened in New York was because it was an outlash of young people not being able to afford anything. And that's not a crap on anyone. It's just life is not affordable right now. Houses aren't. Groceries aren't. We actually need to have a solution for how to make life more affordable for young people.
One thing that's important about that, things have not been affordable for a really long time. Mm-hmm. So as we're talking about this issue, we need to make it clear that this is not a problem from President Trump, that things have not been affordable for quite a while. And that
but Misha, that doesn't work. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to jump in here. That doesn't work. Okay. Well, this is Biden's problem. Well, this was Biden. Well, government got too big. Well, we spent too much money. Well, we had the inflationary bill that, was supposed to be reduction in inflation. We flooded it was 10%. None of that matters if you can't put food on the table today. So that's an ideological argument that you saw in New York, Virginia, Georgia, because of Georgia power rates. You saw it everywhere in New Jersey. It doesn't work. So people are like, okay, yeah, I guess philosophically this is Biden's fault, but you said you're going to lower prices and I still can't afford anything. Interest rates are too high. So if you go with that argument, it's a dead ring. I'm sorry, Misha, it's a dead ring loser. I think we got to address this right now. What are you going to do right now to help me right now? Because if people can't afford things, you cross the bridge of an ideological debate and you get into, I can't pay my health share bill, it just doubled. That's the issue. Yeah.
We have a real problem right now too, to where, and this is concerning, people aren't looking for legitimate solutions anymore. They are turning to, let's just have more government. That'll solve it. When in the world has having more government and bigger government solved anything in this country? That's what's concerning. That's what I think with New York, with Virginia, that's what people are saying, is that, wait, nothing else has worked. Our leaders aren't doing anything else for us. So let's just give the government more control over everything. Let's have them run our grocery stores.
Very well said, Jacqueline. It's like Ronald Reagan is famous for saying the scariest words he can imagine is we're from the government and we're here to help you. And I definitely agree with that.
So, Mike, I think we're on the same page. I think if you look at Mandami, the affordability message and all the things he said made sense. And it resonated, especially with young people. His solutions are going to be a disaster because he's a communist and everything will fail. So it's like, how do we get that message and then put in place solutions that are going to have an impact in the short term, which is, when you get back to, Chamber of Commerce talking points or traditional conservatives about, what Biden did in 2022. I just don't think that's going to fly in the midterms.
We have a short-term problem and a long-term problem. The short-term problem is winning the midterms. And I think the framing of affordability solved by free markets is probably the way to go. But that's longer-term. Mesha is moving in the right direction. We have a huge problem of K-12 propagandizing from teachers' unions, turning our kids into socialists and communists. The answer is to improve and change the curriculum and the teaching in K-12 public schools. And Mesha, I have a little suggestion for your consideration. If you want to improve reading, writing, and arithmetic scores, the very best way to do this is to use a proven methodology that's only been around for 60 years called direct instruction. It takes a lot of work. The teachers' unions hate it, but the results are fantastic.
Yeah, people want voters. Voters don't care who's to blame. They want somebody that's going to solve their problems and solve the affordability issue in the right way. It's kitchen table. I've been in politics since 1976. I was a senior in high school. And we used to have an old saying, people vote their pocketbook. Well, people voted their pocketbook last year, but New York City, they kind of voted their pocketbook, but it's going to be very detrimental when these businesses and the wealth starts leaving.
Well, look, we all know that, okay? I mean, he's a communist. The guy's a communist. Right?
Yeah.
So the solutions are going to be a disaster, and things are going to get worse. But I think what we're debating now is going into the midterms. We need a MAGA Mandami message, right? We're going to make things more affordable. Here's how. For instance, I just had Morgan Griffith on, and I am not in favor when these Obama tax subsidies run out of just pulling the pin and saying, well, it's good. Obamacare failed. Obama lied. It doesn't work.
I agree with you.
We can't give subsidies. What you don't care about that when your health bill comes on January 3rd and it goes from 300 to 900 or 750, you're pissed. You can't pay it. So, you know what? Well, you can't pay it, but it was Obama's fault in 2010. I mean, that just doesn't fly. So you got to solve this now. And that's why I'm for extending the subsidies.
I am too.
Income caps. We need an income cap. We need $5 so you can't just re-enroll and there's phantom people on it. But Mike, the problem is the traditional conservatives want the argument about Obamacare and, we can't have the subsidies and it's too big government. And meantime, your bill doubles. It's like what happened in Georgia with these PIC people. You get your Georgia Power bill. It's higher. It's like, screw you. I don't care what your solution is. I'm pissed because I'm paying 50% more for Georgia Power, data centers, or whatever that was going on. So I think you gotta be able to solve this, Mike, like you said, in the short term.
I agree.
Well, politically, what you're suggesting, John, might be a short-term help, but in the long term, Obamacare is a proven disaster, and Republicans really need to put forward a free market solution. Now, there are some options there, but they've been a little slow on the uptake. And you may be right, politically, they may have to go kind of bite the bullet for this year, but they've got to solve the problem, and they must put forward a free market alternative on healthcare. The Obamacare is a total disaster.
Jacqueline Hart, here's what really pissed me off. Okay, Mike, in the last 2 weeks, U.S. senators, 2 or 3 of them, have come out and said, "I have this elaborate plan, this sophisticated plan to replace Obamacare with a free market system, just bring down prices." Rick Scott. Okay, It's Thanksgiving. When did you have this plan? Like February? Like now you're going to try to roll this out in
Right.
2.5 weeks before Christmas break when people's rates are going up? Like what insanity is that? Like if you had a plan, roll it out in February so we could have debated it for 9 months. Instead, you want to roll it out December 1st and you got 2.5 weeks. It's insanity to me what the Republicans have done with this. You want to fix it, get the short-term thing done, put yourself in a position to get this issue off the table, and then you have 10 months to get a plan and debate it in the election.
And to your point, when Obamacare was first introduced in 2009, it took a year and a half of tough political activation by Democrats and lots of, kind of quasi-legal activities to get it through, and then a bad Supreme Court decision. It took a long time.
Terrible Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, but it took a long time politically for them to jam it through. I think you're right. We're not going to just show up in 2 weeks and solve it. It's a longer term problem. But I think your idea of basically understanding that you got to win the midterms first, but you got to have a solution, and it's got to be in place after the midterms.
So let's get back to Taylor Greene for a moment. President Trump says he's going to find somebody to primary her and take her out in District 14 in a primary. 3 days ago, I was not in favor of that. Not in favor of it. Waste resources, spend time. It's an R+23 district. Democrat can't win. Why bother? After Tuesday, fine. If he comes in there and Lasavita goes in there and they get a good candidate, I think she's in trouble. Can she win, Debbie?
I think it depends on the candidate and how much resources they have to put into that race. Donald Trump is a big stick. I mean, he has a big stick. He's got a lot of activists, and I have had activists reach out to me from the 14th, and they're upset with what she's been doing. It's just like Misha said. I mean, you go to a press conference bashing the president and you're surrounded by Democrats. That is not a good look.
No.
And it's not that she went on these Democrat leaning shows and all that. It's the fact she went on them, and it was an apology tour to the Democrats about, oh, I am so sorry. I did all this and all of that. That's what the issue was. I mean, she was willing to take out, she wanted to go after Donald Trump, and then she lied and said, oh, I've been MAGA since 2015, and she has.
Yeah, and then, by the way, Democrats, what do they really want to accomplish? They want to destroy our constitutional republic. That is the reality of it. And for Marjorie Taylor Greene to hold a press conference surrounded by Democrats who want to destroy our constitutional republic, it's such a bad look. And I don't think she can recover from it, John. And who knows what her motivations ultimately may be in that arena.
Well, she's going to run for president in 28 as the post-Trump new, different kind of America first or something. So, Debbie, just quick, can she win? Yes or no?
Depends on the candidate.
No. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Mesha, can she win? Renomination.
I can't give you a yes or no answer.
Jacqueline Hart, can she win?
Yeah.
Michael Patrick Leahy, can she win?
Well, I don't know the district, but I would say she probably can win because she's a national presence and she'll get a lot of money from Democrats.
Waddy, can she win?
Absolutely.
Waddy says absolutely. I say no. Trump gets in, brings in Lasavita. She's toast. Sorry. Game over. Have a nice life. Okay, let's get back to Derek Dooley and the Senate race going on there. So Misha asked an interesting question. What is your polling saying going up against Ossoff? So what is it saying, Jacqueline Hart?
There's a wide variety, right?
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of different polls out there. However, the most consistent part of all these polls with each other is that there's a wide and long percentage of people that are still undecided.
Yep.
That's going to be a major thing. I'm not at this point. I want the best person is going to be Ossoff next year. I think that we should make sure. I think candidates for some votes better than others have done a better job of not attacking our own quite at this point yet. Again, I don't think that helps with turnout. I don't think that helps with our overall messaging of beating ourselves up in a primary. We've gone through this argument before. But you really have to figure out, okay, what's going to win over that 35%, 36% of undecided voters? Where are they? What's going to win them over? How are they going to, I think the key here, and I would take this stance because I am Gen Z, getting Gen Z out to the polls like they did for President Trump is going to be the biggest thing. And so what are you going to do about that? I'm assuming that's probably in that big percentage of undecideds. And so what's your solution for that? How are you going to make that happen? Because that's the key here.
So, Jacqueline, as a young Republican chair, you can't make an endorsement, but in your judgment, so I get that. I'm not going to ask that. So in your judgment, Jacqueline Harn, who is of these, there's 3 candidates. Who do you think has the best chance to beat Ossoff? It's
too early. I think it is way too early to decide. I don't think enough has quite come out about any of the candidates quite yet. If you talk to me personally, you can call me offline. I'll give my own opinions there about who I have a certain bias towards.
I'll get you. To do that, I'll get your number from Debbie. Will give me your number. You have her number, right, Deb?
Yes.
You have everybody's number. Drew's got everybody's number.
If you know me, I have a bias towards someone.
Misha can't answer the question because she's running in a Republican primary in May, so she needs everybody to vote for her. So I'm not even going to ask her and put her in that position. So we'll go to Debbie, and I already know what your answer is. Debbie, go ahead. Which candidate has the best chance to beat Ossoff?
Derek Dooley. And speaking of the polling, I want to remind everyone at this point during the 2016 presidential race on the Republican side, everybody assumed Jeb Bush was going to be the nominee.
Great spin. My judgment, only guy that can possibly beat Ossoff is Derek Dooley.
Right.
That's why I've endorsed him early, put Brian Kemp's organization behind him, put his machine behind him. He's going to get in the runoff. He's going to win the runoff. And I think his cachet as a coach, he's the only one that has the ability to beat John Ossoff. Right. I'm looking for a winner, okay? I'm looking for a winner. I'm not looking for an ideological purity test, what you did, who you voted for, what you did in 2010. I don't give a rat's tail. I want to beat. If you don't beat Ossoff, he's in there for life. You'll never take him out again. You'll have a communist senator until you're dead. Plus, so you got to take him out now. And I think the only guy to beat him is DD.
Yeah.
Leahy.
Well, again, you're asking me about Georgia politics. I don't know a lot about Georgia politics. I think your analysis about Derek Dooley is right. I think this is not kind, but I'm going to say it. You know, you want a winner. He may be a better political winner than he was a football winner as the head coach at the University of Tennessee.
I hope he's better than that. They fired his ass.
Michael, you got to look. Derek worked under Nick Saban.
They shipped him out in a cab, and the security came in and made him clean his office out. I mean, there's fired and there's fired.
Hold it. Let's just say this: being a head coach in the SEC football, that's a tough job. If you don't win a national championship, you will very soon be on a hot seat.
Except if you're Lane Kiffin.
Well,
oh yeah,
he's probably gonna win a national championship.
And Michael, Derek Dooley worked for Nick Saban 9 years.
What, dear?
Derek Dooley worked under Nick Saban for 9 years.
So what's that got to do with it?
So I think he knows I mean, he may not have been a winner as a head coach, but he was a winner when he worked for Saban.
That's a good point. It's a tough job.
I would have been a winner if I worked for Saban's. Come on, man.
Well, you're a winner anyway, Sean.
Yes, John, you are. And FYI, remember I use YouTube TV to watch, when I watch TV, watch the games, college football games. And they ABC, ESPN were blocked on one of the big important games for Alabama, so I had to listen to it on your radio show instead of watching it.
WMLB
Your
1690, baby. Voice
Yeah.
of the Alabama Crimson Tide in the heart of Atlanta. Just
Yeah.
shove it up their butt, right? That's what I do. Like I carry Alabama in Tennessee, just to piss off the orange purple. And they all come for game day, they all wear like orange and shit. It's ugly. Ugly suits they got.
There's Misha back.
Okay, Misha, we're going to ask you an easy question. Who's going to be the national champion? College football.
Uh-oh.
Right answer, Georgia. So that game set. Debbie actually bet Texas plus 5.5 and told me I was too stupid to have a job. All right, let's get back to let's get back to the final thing. Let's get back to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I love the fact that you said that Georgia was embarrassed by these public service commission catastrophe races. What are you guys going to do there about Georgia Power? They're in bed with the data centers, higher rates. What's the plan?
I mean, the plan moving forward is to not have, and this is no issue towards Tim and Fitz. We campaigned for them. They are good friends. I care for both of them dearly as people. But running on a message and actually having the fact out that you voted 6 times for rate increases.
Yep.
I can't. We door knocked at the door. I said, Young Republicans, we knocked, I think, close to like probably 4,000 voter contacts for PSC races. I think 50,000, including all the other doors for city council, whatever else we were doing. But that's a hard message to sell. Not only are we having to tell people and remind them that there is actually something going on, because most people did not know that. Probably 1 in 10 knew there was an election going on. We kind of laughed at because they're like, what do you mean keep my utility rate bill low? Like, it's not low. And so it put us in a weird position, right? And so I think we really do need to evaluate the regulated monopoly that is Georgia Power. I think that's a huge conversation. And again, none of this can be solved in the next year before the midterms, right? This is long-term policy that needs to be put in place. There was a bill last session that I believe it was Senator Chuck Hofstetler carried it here in Georgia, SB 34, which looked at making sure that Georgia Power ratepayers aren't the ones paying for the data that data centers are using, because it puts on the ratepayer. That's part of the reason why, if you're a Georgia Power customer, your rates are so high. Looking seriously at legislation like that, I think could be beneficial.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Got to get back to affordability, Mike. And a lot of these rate increases are driven by data centers. And so here's the problem with this argument, because I get both sides of it. So you have a data center in a community, right? They pay huge taxes. So the argument is, well, eventually your property taxes will go down, but they're not going down now. But your power bill goes up like immediately. So I was paying $190, now I'm paying $225. I'm paying for the data center, and you're telling me sometime in the future my taxes are going to go down because they're paying higher taxes, which of course they're never going to go down because taxes never go down. So you're getting the increase with a promise of a tax cut in the future. Mike, how's that sell?
I think that's problematic, John.
It's very problematic.
short and sweet, yes, it is problematic.
It's problematic. I mean, we deal with it. That's the problem with the data centers, and the selling point for the data center advocates, and I understand it. You got to get the energy. You got to compete. And they call them AI centers, which they're not. So that's a fancy way of saying, hey, we're on the cutting edge of technology. They're data centers.
Yeah.
Right? And they suck up energy like crazy.
Yeah.
And so your bill goes up, and then the data center advocates, and they're both sides of the aisle, right? It's just not Republicans or Democrats. Data center advocates are saying, but they pay higher taxes, and your taxes go down. And it's like, yeah, okay, but I just got to pay this bill. Folks, thanks for being with us. Thanks for having the Peach Crew with us. Jacqueline, I'm going to call you offline. Really enjoyed having you on today. Thank you for your candor.
Sounds good.
There's
Thanks for
only one
having me.
Debbie Dooley. Debbie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, out. She's going to lose. Just FYI. Michael Patrick Lay is going to be back with the Michael Patrick Lay Show live here in Washington, D.C. Don't go away. Stay with us.
And I might have a special guest by the name of John Fredericks for a bit.
Yay.